What was it like to, pitch for the Yankees while you were hearing that you may go, you may not go, you're definitely not going, and then you go? What was that like for you?
It was a little distracting. I think it was tough. You get pretty attached to your teammates and the city and all that stuff, and you get comfortable playing for a certain team. I really enjoyed playing for the Yankees. I like playing in the American League East. You probably don't hear that very often, but it was just one of those things where I knew it was a possibility. I had zero leverage. I didn't have no trade protection or anything like that. So as long as it was a possibility, they were going to talk about it, and the media turned out to be right. It ended up happening. And, for me, it doesn't do any good to look back on it negatively or complain about it, because it's out of my control and it's happened. It's over with. And, the best thing about it is I'm on a team now that has big expectations this year and is going the right direction, and certainly, has a chance to win.
Well, that's a positive, no doubt about that. And I'm sure you are glad to be in that position, no question. But if you had the trade protection, would you have exacted it to stay put in New York?
I don't know. It's a tough question. I think, it's not something that really matters because I didn't have it. I certainly had an attachment to the Yankees. There were a lot of reasons I wanted to go there. There's the reasons I signed there. And, it's tough leaving that situation. My plan was to sign with the Yankees for 4 years and hopefully, get a championship there. But the reality is I'm a Cleveland Indian now, and, the goal is to win a championship with the Indians. And I think, there's certainly a possibility of that, and it's a pretty exciting one at that.
Well, the atmosphere in the Yankees clubhouse after you were traded, Andrew, the reports were it was like a funeral in there. What was it like in that locker room last several weeks with so many veterans, including some with World Series resumes, to struggle in the manner that you had in the first half of the season?
I think we actually played pretty well in the middle portion of the season. We just got off to a slow start, and it was just maybe a little bit too big of a hole to dig ourselves out of. But, it was tough. I think it was a real professional group. I think we really liked each other and got along. And, I think once the Chapman trade was made, we knew that, anything was possible. And, certainly, like I said, I felt like we played pretty well right around the break. The problem was we were playing really good teams, and winning series wasn't enough. We had to go on a run and a pretty good winning streak at that, and weren't able to pull it off. So, you make relationships. I think it's a group of guys that have played together for a long time. And, fortunately, I think I fit in pretty well. That, it's tough to see those guys go, but that's the reality of baseball. And, this is my sixth team, so I've done it before. And, I'm looking forward to getting to know these guys here better. And, they're doing something right here the way they play.
Andrew Miller joining me here on The Rich Eisen Show. And in that regard, as you mentioned, this is your sixth team. But with you being in a new surrounding, at least there's a familiar face in the skipper, in Terry Francona, who was your first manager with the Red Sox. What was that like reuniting with him, Andrew?
It's nice. I think, from a comfort level, having a little bit of experience with him. But, ultimately, I think just, even if I didn't know Tito, coming to play for a manager like that is, that's as good as it gets. All the players rave about him. The team is obviously playing well under his, guidance. And he's just, he keeps things loose. The players are, in charge of a lot of what goes on, and there's a lot of freedom. And as long as you show up on time and play hard and play right, he's going to be behind you. And that's what we look for as players. And he's as good at anybody, as good as anybody at that.
When you say that the players are in charge in that regard, is that you mean like the major league shrines that are in the clubhouse in honor of Major League? Is that what you're referring to, Andrew?
I haven't seen that yet. If it's put away in somebody's locker,
Okay.
I haven't found it yet. But yeah, I think Tito does a pretty good job of letting the players have the clubhouse and run things that that fits that group of guys. So, I think his track record shows that he knows how to handle guys and put teams in good positions, and just excited to be a part of that.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.